Happy Sunday. Welcome to my channel. This is Killer Grub with Mark. And today we're gonna make some meatloaf. But it's not just your normal meatloaf. It's I smoke my meatloaf in a smoker. I got the pit boss outside, all ready to go. I've been smoking meats and other things. I make jerky. I do all kinds of stuff. I smoke the usual ribs, brisket, you know, all that kind of stuff. I make jerky out of thin sliced, you know, steak meat. Usually flap steak or skirt steak, something like that. I'll probably make videos of those items in the future as well. But I smoke meatloaf and it is so damn good. It's incredible. I have a buddy of mine at work that hates meatloaf. Literally hates meatloaf. He will not eat meatloaf. And I made this, and I didn't know he didn't like meatloaf. And I made this meatloaf, and believe me, it's a pretty good sized meatloaf when I make it. It's anywhere between 3.5 and 4 pounds of meatloaf when I do this. And I took it into work, and I was, you know, reheating it for lunch, and I always give it out to my coworkers. I take this stuff to work and I feed my friends. Anyway, he goes, "What is that?" I'm like, "It's meatloaf." He goes, "Man, it smells great." He goes, "I freaking hate meatloaf. I will not eat meatloaf." And I said, "Well, why don't you try this meatloaf?" I said, "You can, if you take one bite, if you don't like it, you can throw it in the garbage. You're not gonna hurt my feelings." I said, "But if you like it, it's a win-win for me." And so he did try it. And I just actually took it into his office, gave it to him, and I said, "Hey, whenever you get around to eating it, give it a try. Let me know what you think." About an hour later, he came into my office and he said, "Man, Mark," he goes, "I don't like meatloaf, but that was the best meatloaf I've ever ate." And he said, "It's crazy because I hate meatloaf. I will not eat it." He says, "But I would eat that meatloaf anytime." So anyway, so I'm gonna share with you my recipe for meatloaf. And first thing I do is I get everything I'm gonna put in it ready. You know, I have all my ingredients out here. I've got my meat, I've got all my seasonings. Funny thing, I put breadcrumbs in my meatloaf. I usually buy like panko breadcrumbs or whatever. It doesn't matter what kind of breadcrumbs you put in there. Whatever suits your fancy, Italian style breadcrumbs, you know, there's all kinds of breadcrumbs. I looked in my cabinet and I didn't have any breadcrumbs. But I've got bread. So today I'm having, I actually took some breadcrumbs, or I'm sorry, some slices of bread. I toasted them real good in a toaster. I let them sit out, dry out a little bit this morning. And then I threw them in my food processor and I made breadcrumbs. The important thing about it is you want them to be ground up. They don't have to be tiny little bits. I mean, you'll notice that, you know, in here, there's some of them are pretty large chunks. Not large, I mean, you know, 1/8 of an inch or so. But they just need to be dry. They're just gonna be a binder, just like the eggs. The eggs and the breadcrumbs are a binder. They're a binder inside your meatloaf. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. What I've got here is I've got 1.2 pounds of fresh ground pork sausage. This is, they call it country breakfast, okay? And then I've got 2.2 pounds of ground beef, and you can use whatever. I would suggest that for meatloaf, use an 80-20 or an 85-15. Don't use the 93%, because you need that little bit of fat in the ground beef. Otherwise, you could end up with a dry meatloaf, okay? Just my suggestion. I've actually made it with the 93%, you know, with 7% fat. Because I put the pork sausage in it, it has fat in it, so that kind of balances it out. But it's up to you. I shop at Nuggets. This is not a plug for Nuggets. I wish it was. I wish I was getting paid by Nuggets, but I'm not. Anyway, I don't do this for the money. I do it for the fun and to share my recipes with anybody and everybody who wants them. So anyway, I've got 2.2 pounds of ground beef. I'm just gonna toss it in there, okay? All right. Then I've got the 1.2 pounds of pork sausage, and you can use any sausage you want. You can leave the sausage out if you don't like pork. I just suggest if you don't put the sausage in there, definitely use the 80-20. Okay? So here's our pork sausage. You want the pork sausage and the ground beef to be mixed up good. Generally speaking, I will grind up my own beef. I have a meat grinder, and I will grind up my own beef, and I'll grind up my own sausage. I'll grind up my own pork to make sausage, but you know, today I'm just buying the packaged stuff, which is fine. It works too. I mean, it all depends on how much effort you want to put into it. I enjoy cooking, but I only cook on the weekends. I work a lot, so I don't have a lot of time. I'm a pipeliner. If anybody cares, by pipeliner I mean I work in the natural gas pipeline industry. I have for almost 20 years. I'm actually probably going to retire here in a couple years. Anyway, then I can cook more, right? Anyway, I love cooking. I've been cooking, really full-time cooking a lot. I've only been cooking for about maybe 10 years or so. I'd use the two knives because it kind of breaks up all the sausage and gets it a little bit mixed in better. Make sure you have a big bowl if you're gonna do, like I'm doing, a pretty doggone big meatloaf, okay? One of the things, if you're, you know, of course this recipe is going in the smoker. If you don't have a smoker, bake it in your oven. That works too. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is for a smoked meatloaf. And the smoking does add flavor that you would not get in the oven for sure. Okay? All right, so I've got the meat all kind of cut together. Now what I want to do is I want to season it. Okay? Now in the bowl already I have a half an onion diced up finely, and I've got 2 stalks of celery chopped up in the bowl. Okay, that's what's in there already. I did that beforehand. You guys don't need me to show you how to chop onions or celery. But I chopped up half an onion. You can adjust it as you want. And 2 stalks of celery. You can add more, add less, whatever, it's up to you. Okay, how I do this meatloaf is I've got some Chipotle pepper. All right, I'm gonna just sprinkle it in there. I just put a nice little layer on there. It doesn't have to be a lot, but you want that flavor in there. I've got cayenne pepper, okay? Cayenne pepper. That, of course, you want to do to your taste. If you like it hot and spicy, put more in there. I like the cayenne. I like that little bite in there. I actually buy cayenne in a big jar, and I refill the little jar. Anyway, And then I take my favorite barbecue spice rub. This is one of my favorites. Kinder's brown sugar. It's really good. I use it on everything that I smoke. But you want to put a little bit of your barbecue spice rub in there. Not a lot. I would say probably a tablespoon. You know, I probably put a teaspoon of Chipotle, probably half a teaspoon or more of cayenne, a tablespoon or so of brown sugar, Kinder's rub. I'm going to put, you notice I don't measure a whole lot. You know, that's a hefty teaspoon of kosher coarse salt. Okay. Probably a teaspoon or so of fresh cracked black pepper. Okay, then I'm going to put in some granulated garlic, not garlic salt. I got salt in there, just granulated garlic. You want a bit of that garlic flavor. I probably put a good, I don't know, I probably put more than a teaspoon in there. Get a little bit, get that garlic flavor. Gotta love it. I have onions in there, but I still put a little bit of onion powder in it. Okay, just to enhance that onion flavor. I love onions. You know, it's probably a good tablespoon of it in there. And I have celery in there, but I'm still going to put a little bit of celery. And this is celery salt, yes. I also have celery seed. You can put celery seed in there. I just add a little bit to enhance the celery flavor. Just literally, that's not that much, okay? And the next thing I put in there, Worcestershire. All right, there's some Worcestershire in there. Probably, in this much meat, I'm going to say a tablespoon. All right, a good tablespoon. And then I throw some barbecue sauce in it. Whatever barbecue sauce suits your fancy. All right, this is Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. I like it, but I also use Kinder's. And I also make my own barbecue sauce. I don't put a ton in there. Probably, I don't know, probably a quarter cup. And then I'll throw some ketchup in there. About the same amount as I do the barbecue sauce. Okay? Boom, done. And then last but not least, we're going to throw, well, not last, we still have the breadcrumbs. But I'll take 2 eggs, I'll break them into a freaking bowl, and then throw them in there. 2 eggs. You don't have to, you know, you could just crack them, throw them in there, whatever. And then my breadcrumbs. That is just a little more than a cup of breadcrumbs. It's about a cup. It's about a cup and a half. Okay? You notice I've got sour cream, heavy cream, eggs, and cream cheese sitting over here because I'm going to be making cheesecake. Real New York style cheesecake, the real deal. I'll be posting a recipe of that up as well in the future. But trial and error. Took me a long time, but I actually figured out how to make real New York style cheesecake. My other tip for the smoked meatloaf is this is actually a pan for beer can chicken. Has an attachment, goes in there. You put your can of whatever in there and then you throw your chicken on top of it. You throw it in the smoker and smoke it. This makes the perfect pan for smoking a meatloaf. See, it's all full of holes, so you get the smoke all around it. Put that right here, okay? So, On the other thing about meatloaf, normally when you bake meatloaf in the oven, you will put ketchup or barbecue sauce or whatever on top of it, your glaze. When you smoke a meatloaf, you don't do that. You don't put anything on top of it that's going to keep that smoke flavor from penetrating into the meat. I get consistently, that's one of the things I love about the Pit Boss smoker. I've had probably 6 different kinds of smokers in my life. I've got a ceramic egg out there that I like. I like it a lot. I've had Brinkman, the upright smokers. I've had, side box barrel smokers. I've had all kinds of smokers. Of course, I love the side box. I love doing it with real wood. But this Pit Boss, I love it. I've had it for over a year now, and I have had 0 issues with it. 0. It has worked flawlessly every time. But you just don't want to put anything on top of it. Coat over it, like with ketchup or barbecue sauce or anything. You just put it in there. If you want to put ketchup or barbecue sauce or something on it afterwards, that's all well and good. I give people the option. I provide barbecue sauce when I serve this meatloaf, and 9 out of 10 people don't put nothing on it. There's one more thing that I do when I'm smoking it about once an hour. I spritz it with a 50-50 mixture of apple cider vinegar and apple cider in a spray bottle. I just spritz it, liberally, and then boom, close the lid. All right, so I'm gonna mix this all up. All right, this is the fun part. Mixing up the meatloaf. Okay, I use my hands. I always have. I always will. You just get a better mix. People ask me all the time, tips about making meatloaf, because I don't know. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but my meatloaf is really good. And they say, how come my meatloaf turns out tough? Or how come my meatloaf, falls apart? Or, how am I, blah, blah, blah. One of the mistakes a lot of people make with meatloaf is over-mixing it. Over-mixing it. Just really mixing it too much. All right? You can mix your meatloaf too much. Once I get it kind of blended together, all I do is kind of flip it around in here. Make sure that everything is blended together real good. I don't just sit there and work it constantly, okay? Now what I'll do is I'll get my basic shape. Okay, it's mixed now. It's mixed, all right? That took a minute, right? Now what I'll do is I'll get my basic shape in here. Okay? You don't want to pack it hard, but you don't want it all full of cracks and openings, and you don't want it full of air or whatever. Okay? Okay? But there's my basic shape. I got it ready to go. Okay? Now, I'll just pull it out of here, lay it in my pan, okay? Move this out of the way, bring the pan over. Okay, there it is. I mean, it's a thing of beauty, right? I love meatloaf sandwiches, and for a smoked meatloaf, you want more surface area. The more surface area you can get, the better, okay? And that's why I make it kind of wide, right? Kind of long. It pretty much fills up this pan, not side to side, of course. I don't want it right up against these sides because I want the smoke to penetrate all the way around and up the bottom. But I get it in there, I flatten it out. I'm not pushing hard on it. All right. I want a lot of surface area. So I don't want a big tall, and then I love meatloaf sandwiches. So I cut it. I mean, I shape it so that it's gonna be good size for bread. I'm a big sourdough fan. My sourdough's about that big, right? Perfect for a sourdough. All right, okay, so it's ready. That's it, it's done. I don't need to do anything else with it. I'm gonna take it out, I'm gonna pop it on the smoker. I'm gonna smoke it for about 5 hours. About. I put my digital probe thermometer in there, and I cook it to an internal temperature of 160 degrees. 160, get it out, all right? And then I set it and I let it cool, and it's perfect. So anyway, let's get these gloves off. All right. If you like what you see, if you like my recipe here, hit the like button. You know, I hear a lot of other YouTubers, smash that like button. If you like what I'm cooking, if you like the things you see that I'm making, like I said, I'm gonna make cheesecake. I'll be posting that video up. It takes me a little while. I'm not good at editing. I'm a little slow. It takes me a couple days to get these videos up, but I'll get it up. And anyway, subscribe. You know, subscribe to my channel. I promise I'll be making some good stuff. And my promise to you is, you know, I'll try to post up at least once a week. I would like to get to where I can do 2 to 3 videos a week, but time-wise, you know, I got to prioritize my time. We all must, right? And so, you know, we have family. We have, you know, I'm married. I got a beautiful wife. I love her. Love you, Lily. But, you know, I'll try to post up at least once a week. I'd like to get to where I'm doing 2 to 3 videos a week. If there's something you'd like to see me make, post in the comments. Put in the comments. Tell me what you want to see me make. Even if I screw it up, we'll watch it and we'll laugh about it, okay? But anyway, hit the like button, subscribe, punch that like button, hit the subscribe button, and comment. Let me know what you think. Anyway, let me get this on the smoker, and then once we get it all smoked up, we'll see the final product. Thank you for watching, and look to see you again soon.
About the Pit Boss that I love. Look at the temperature right there. It's a little over 210. All right. We've got an internal temperature of, well, there, it says 212 on my digital thermometer. 139 is my internal temp on my meat. And then come down here and it actually says 210 degrees on there. They all run pretty much right around the same. It cooks as evenly as any smoker I've ever had. But I just wanted to do a real quick video. The lighting's terrible, but this is my Pit Boss.
All right, so the meatloaf, the smoked meatloaf. Smoked it to an internal temp of 160 degrees. I don't think I mentioned this in the last video, in the last segment. I smoked it with Applewood. I love using the fruit woods. You know, certain things I'll use competition blend wood, but for stuff like this, I use the fruit woods. Really imparts a really nice mild smoke flavor in the meat. It's not overpowering, but it's there and it's delicious. Here it is. I took it out, I let it cool, and then I sliced off a piece. I don't know if you can see it real good. I hope so. But there's the end piece. It's got a beautiful smoke ring. It's delicious. It's smoked for about 5 hours, just about 5 hours. I really don't go by time. I go by internal temp when I cook meatloaf. This was 160. I do this this is hamburger and sausage. I want it cooked. I don't want it well done because now it's going to dry out. I'll get the camera and bring it over here a little closer so you can have a little bit closer look here. Here it is. It's got a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful red color. That's from the Applewood. You can see in there, it's got a real nice smoke ring. I mean, just smoke ring's probably a quarter inch, right? Quarter inch. Excuse the rest of my kitchen. Anyway, there it is. Like I said, I don't think I mentioned the temp. I cook around, when I'm doing a meatloaf like this, I cook it at around 250. So it'll vary with a pellet smoker, with any kind of smoker, your temperature is going to vary up and down a little bit. It'll drop down to sometimes 200, and then go up to as much as 255. But it always stays right in there. So that's why the time really is irrelevant. Because the temperature varies. Any kind of smoker, I don't care what kind of smoker it is. This Pit Boss grills, love them. It holds an even temperature better than any smoker I've ever had. And I've had quite a few. Anyway, gotta try this meatloaf out. If you're into smoking meats, try it out. It's awesome. When I tell people I smoke meatloaf in a smoker, they're like, "You do what?" And then they try it and they're like, "Wow, that's the only way I want to eat meatloaf from this point on." I mean, it really is a complete different take on meatloaf. Now, there's nothing wrong with classic meatloaf baked in the oven. I love it, but this, hands down, better. So anyway, if you like what I've cooked, if you like the way I cook, please smash that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. I will be putting more videos out there. I'm still working on mastering this editing thing. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it, and have a wonderful week coming up.